Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your brother coming right back at you once again to talk to you about Mr. Kirk's assassination. I'm going to keep it real nice and short so that will give you a chance to take a look at the links that I will share with you, the evidence of what I'm about to cover here. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what I said about politics and religions being feathers of the same bird. In fact, Christendom came out of a political system back in Rome in the year 325. So here's Mr. Kirk serving two masters. And he paid with his life. And the people that did him in are his closest one. In fact, there was some time ago, his death was predicted. You understand? His death was predicted, was prophesied. Ladies and gentlemen, what did I say to you? America has been worked. America has been conquered because you remember their motto: divide and conquer. Order out of chaos. You see what is going on in the United States? The United States is being destroyed and will be destroyed from within. The cherry on top one is going to be when the foreign armies, especially from the Persian Empire, from the descendants of the Persian Empire, the Iranians, steps into the United States. America will be destroyed, ladies and gentlemen. Americans will be scattered all over the planet. Just like God's people were scattered all over the planet, they will be. But you know what? They're being scattered all over the planet will be instant destruction. America will not be welcome in many countries. They will be attacked. America is the second beast of the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, I've been telling you this many years. America is the most naive nation upon the face of this earth. Okay? That's why even foreign governments can have instigators and immigration protests. Black Lives Matter was created by the government. You understand? Black Panther were created by the government, and so are the gangs. In fact, if you look at the two main political powers in the United States, they have gang colors. They have the red, which is the Bloods, and you have the Crips, which is what? The Republicans. But they are all the same, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Let me just tell you this. America has been shaped, she has been worked, she has been programmed for self-destruction. That's why you got all of this, all of the states being on the wrong side, always supporting the QT plus agenda. It's part of the plan. The abortion agenda, which is actually human sacrifice to the gods, to their God. Remember the God that's in the back of your dollar bill, in your coin. In God we trust. Is this a nation that really trusts in God? Of course not. The name of the God that they have in your monetary, and your coins and on your dollar bills is the Satan, the devil. If you don't believe me, look at the symbols. Remember, systems, governments, societies are governed by symbols. They are not ruled by laws and rules and laws. They are governed by symbols, just like Confucius said it. But anyway, I'm here to tell you real quick. This young man's life, who lives a couple of kids, fatherless, and a widow wife. Ladies and gentlemen, if I would have been his friend, I would say, listen, you either going to talk about God and stay out of the government. And I know what he's going to come up with. Oh, well, wasn't Joseph part of the government? Yes, but he was on a mission from God. He was in no mission from God. You was on a popularity contest. You was trying to get more. You was an influencer to help Donald Trump, and indeed you helped. But you should have known. In fact, hopefully I'm going to show in one of the videos that I will some of the links that I will share with you. You're going to see the one of the bodyguards constantly looking up and looking around and looking at his watch. What kind of security guard is that? You don't look at your like when is this was a hit, ladies and gentlemen. As when he came where he least suspected from. The closest people to him were the one that did him in. Not the Democrats, not the liberals, okay? Let's get it straight. Democrats and liberals, ladies and the left, they have a mission to accomplish. Okay? Everybody's got a role to play, right? Well, there it is. Everybody's got a role to play, and the Democrats play their part, the Republicans play their part. Let me give you a perfect example. A sleepyhead, Joe Biden, knowing what America went through back in 9/11, in 2001, he opened the borders to the world. Let me tell you, I don't care how stupid you are, but you should know that when you did that, you opened the door to terrorism, as they call it. But terrorism has been created. It's a boogeyman that was created by the government to be used by the government. Remember what they did to John F. Kennedy? Because he opened his mouth. See, when you don't deal with the devil and think that you get away with shit. And that's what John F. Kennedy did. His father was a Freemason. And that's what Kirk did. He was talking about Christ and Jesus Christ and God and all of this. But then again, he was supporting the political system. You don't do that. Okay? So his closest people were the one that did him in. That's what everybody's talking about now. But they fear to see the reality because people don't take the Bible literally. Because the system has worked them not to, and people have followed through. They don't take God seriously. In fact, they still teach the satanic theory of evolution in your universities. You see, so now they created these monsters, and which they cannot control. Okay, so with that being said, let us go to 2 verses in the Bible. Okay, let us go to John chapter 18. John chapter 18. Now, Christ is the one, Yeshua is the one talking here, right? John chapter 18, verse 36. Christ answered. So, because Pilate had a question for him, let us start on verse 35 then. Pilate answered, am I a Jew? Thy own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? 36. Christ answered, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews? But now is my kingdom not from hence. So you understand? The future king, and he has always been a king, the Redeemer, humanity's Redeemer, said to Pilate, my kingdom is not of this world. What was Kirk saying? America the Great, and this and that. And he was a diehard Republican supporting Donald Trump. But on the other hand, he was talking about what? About God. You don't mix those two things together, Mr. Kirk. Okay? So my condolences to his wife, but he fell victim to his ignorance. He went against what I just read. And he also went against what is written in Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. You got to be careful. When you preach the gospel, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot come and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." Okay? No. You gotta follow what the Bible says. On Matthew chapter 6, verse 24, it says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon." Mammon means, ladies and gentlemen, money, or the system, or a government, or a political system. You understand? You cannot serve two masters, plain and simple. What was Mr. Kirk doing? Again, I just told you. He was talking about Christ. He was preaching the gospel, his gospel, all right? And then at the same time, he was supporting the political system. So he was confusing the young minds out there. And that's why God let it happen. Because remember, God giveth life and God taketh life away. So that's why when the word go ahead, do it was given, it was on. There was no way. He got to the point of no return. The order was given. He was done. You think that the powers that be, the Freemasons, are gonna let you keep talking about God and Christ and this and that? You was a controversial figure because you was confused. And your enemy exploited that. They were always trying to what? To argue you to death. Or what about this? About race and about transgender and all of that. They were always trying to get you. You play into the devil's game, into the game master's hands, and you pay the price. Okay? So when you come to this side, you don't vote. You follow the rules, but you don't be part of the government because your votes don't count anyway. So in other words, you understand the game. You don't fall victim to it. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's get real here. You're gonna see the links that I'm gonna share with you. You're gonna see the links. In fact, I'm about to cut off this video, but like I've been telling you, 13 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that America has been easy. She was robbed in 1913 by the creation of the Federal Reserve back on December 31st, when everybody was celebrating the Christmas. See, the devil is an opportunist. He's a game master. And his disciples went to work. And they created the Federal Reserve, which has nothing to do with the government. But previously, they created, back in February of the same year, 1913, they created the IRS, which is basically thieves that go into your checks, your hard-earned money, and take money from you, and then make you believe that you are paying for services. For your police department, your fire department, that is all a lie. America has been scammed. She has been robbed. She has been easy. She was there for the taking, and they did. And those same people who are Freemasons, who controls the Roman Catholic Church, ladies and gentlemen. Because, and by the way, she's the first beast, and she has shown it. She shows it every day. In fact, what did she allow? Have you listened to the news? She allowed gays to march. The LGBTQ plus community march into St. Peter's Square and go into the cathedral, St. Peter's Cathedral, because it's all a game. The Roman Catholic Church has been raping kids since it was created. They had an agenda, not just the Inquisition where they killed almost 100 million human beings. This first beast has also, check this, listen to me, she has killed and she has sacrificed, especially kids. She has been on a rampage. She has been part of the homosexuality community. Remember when the pandemic came around? She pushed that. She pushed for that. Nothing is done by coincidence. Have you heard that they have a satellite? I mean, not a satellite. What you may call one of those big antennas, and it's called Lucifer, because that is their god, looking for extraterrestrial beings. And when the government knows that people are not ready for the truth, these are fallen angels. These are your spiritual angels that will come, and believe me, they will not come in peace. They will help destroy a majority of humanity very, very soon. Okay, so I have so many things to cover for you here, but you know, let's leave like that for now. But just know that the devil never sleeps. And this is going to keep going. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. People are going, they're going to come for people that are on YouTube, on Rumble, everywhere. They're going to come for people. Yes. But only those that are in their frequencies. You see, I'm not in their frequencies. In fact, I only have 145 subscribers out of 678 videos. Go figure that. Because they know that people don't want the truth. Because everything in this world is a freaking lie. Men never went to the moon. The earth is not a globe, but they teach you that since you was little. You understand? Please, wake the hell up, ladies and gentlemen. And let's be free once and for all. Y'all take care. This is all I have for you. Remember, there's more. I just wanted to touch this with you and make you understand what is really happening. Who put a hit on Mr. Kirk? Remember, all these people that fall for the devil's game become expendables. They don't care. And they want to provoke a race war, a civil war. Okay? Chaos. Remember, order out of chaos. That's exactly what they... in fact, one of the links that I'm going to show you is how they play Americans' mind with a bunch of lies. Okay? On the final 9/11 report, which was a lie. They didn't even mention Building 7. Please take a look at that. This is all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, I do this out of love for y'all. Y'all take care.